you doing, everybody? Today, let's talk about the Vortex again. I did a video a while back when the Vortex first came out, the Proto was released. Kind of give my opinions on the initial tosses, but that was back in like February or something like that, when it was cold. Since then, we've had a couple different versions thrown out there. You have the Proto, the original, the SP, and then they came up with the First Flight Pro line. First thing I want to address in some of the things I've heard from others is that the Protos and the First Flights fly differently. I think I've heard that the Protos are more flippy. For me, I've flown a bunch of them. They are my main driver. I practice with about 7 or 8 different ones. They are not any more flippy than the other. They fly exactly the same. So don't let anybody tell you that one's flippier than the other. Maybe they're throwing different weights. We'll get into that a little bit. So I just kind of wanted to kill that rumor and train of thought right off the bat. They fly exactly the same. Do not let anybody tell you the Proto is any different than the First Flight. So as far as flight patterns go, at least for me. I mean, I think I've thrown them enough now to figure that out. So currently what I do is I bag 3. I bag a heavier weight. This is like 174, 175-ish. This one's 169. And this one is 170. So why do I do that? Because the lighter one, which is this one, is a little flippier for me because I can throw it a little harder because it's a little bit lighter. Not because it's a First Flight. This one's a little heavier. So this one I can work a little bit better, keep it a little straighter, and just the way it is. I mean, it's only 4 or 5 grams, but it seems to make a bit of a difference for me on how it's come out of my hand, a little bit less or a little more speed. So, and then this SP is kind of in the middle for me. This one's getting nice and beat in now, so it's starting to get a little more flippier than it was, but still very controllable. And it's starting to become like this one here. We're starting to get some crossover just because of how beat in this one is, and this one isn't as beat in yet. But even with that, I mean, you get some really good glide out of them. So these have completely taken over my spot that I used to have in my bag for a sail. These are basically a slower sail, as far as, you know, use general terms there. I get a lot of glide for these. They're good for low shots, you know, low ceiling shots. They're good for nice swooping anhyzers. They're good for just kind of throwing some nice high floating turnovers, and they will finish at the end as well. So if you have the space to do that, but especially this one here, I could throw on a little bit of hyzer and throw as hard as I want, and it will just turn and finish off for me nice and straight. I just played Northwoods Black on Friday and used this one a lot off the tee, especially when you had tunnel shots and had to have skinnier lines to hold. This for me really worked. Now I know it's not for everybody. I have a friend who's an open player, and he threw these, and all he did was just, you know, kind of crash and burn for him to the right. These are ideal for slower armed, I want to say lower distance players. I mean, I can get these up to about 300, 325 at the most, but that's pretty good for me. You know, I'm happy with that. But typically, a typical throw for me goes about 280 to 300 on the regular, depending on what I'm trying to do with it. But these are very, very controllable versus the sails, to be honest with you. And if you're an older guy like me, who's, you know, the distance is kind of going down, but you still want to be able to get it out there a little bit, use these Vortexes. They're fantastic. play around with the plastics, which just Proline and SP right now, but also play around with the weights. I think throwing some heavier ones versus some lighter ones makes a little bit of a difference in how they fly over time. Maybe it just seems that way I'm doing it. So again, you've got first flights and protos, the same, different runs but the same, fly the same. Your SP is kind of a tweener, a little more stable right out of the box. All of mine are at the 170 range, so I don't have any heavier ones to compare them to, but I really like them. They do have a different feel. Number one, they're a little gummier, and they do fly a little bit differently. So it all depends what you're looking for. So go out and get your Vortex.